Hi everyone. Good evening. Yep. Okay, I'm not sure tonight's live itself, okay? It's like how smooth it will be because we've been testing the system earlier on, and it's like somehow in between it's like you can see that it's like my camera has like frozen, okay? So in case if it actually froze, right, okay, later on, just focus on what I'm sharing with you, okay? That'll be good enough. Yeah, so later on, I think I need this particular TV to go slightly inner a bit so that I can actually see people's comment. All right, so let's see if there's anyone watching now. Okay, thank you so much. Tonight's session, I'll be sharing more on period 9 Feng Shui activations and methods and purposes. Okay, all right, I know, okay, because it's like this year itself, actually ever since last year, okay, in 2021, I've been emphasizing a lot of Feng Shui activation, right, okay, and more so ever this year, okay, in 2022, I will emphasize a lot of Feng Shui activations if you're following my annual events, my special workshops, my breakthrough workshops, okay, right, this year itself, it will be in a way focusing on a lot of Feng Shui activation because we are nearing into period 9. Now, for those of you who are new, okay, to Feng Shui, right, probably you'll be wondering is like, what is period 9, all right? So period 9 is actually a transitional period, right? Because when it comes to Feng Shui, one of the school of Feng Shui, which is a Xuan Gong school of Feng Shui, every 20 years itself, we will be transiting into a new particular year. I mean, not to say a new year, but a new particular time, okay? So it's like a new particular period of time. So every 20 years, we will be actually changing into a new particular period of 9, and number 9 or period 9 we call it is actually the end, okay, of this one whole big cycle of 180 years. And as I mentioned during my annual event itself, right, every time when you come towards an ending, there always follows by a new beginning. Therefore, you see that in this particular period, now every 20 years we will transit. Every 20 years we will expect, okay, all these transitional of energies and all these things happening. But when it comes to, okay, like towards the ending of a big cycle, which in a way comprises of the 180 years, right? Now this is a moment where you see a lot of like extraordinary phenomena, okay? That's why ever since starting from 2020, okay, onwards during the Great Conjunction, you will see that more and more like supernatural phenomena, okay, rapid changes, okay, massive changes of energy going on, okay, in the world itself, where be it in terms of like, natural disasters, okay, phenomenal weather, or even, okay, rapid changes of energy when it in a way affect people, okay, populations, humanity, right? All this in a way will be witnessing, okay, this massive change of energy. And for some of you, I'm not sure whether you realize, okay, even though we still have like 365 days a year, okay, 24 hours per day, but somehow it felt like the time really passes by in a way much more like quicker, okay, comparatively to before. Even though for the past 2 years itself, you will say that, they say most of the time, probably most of us will be in a way stuck at home, right? Especially like during 2020 or major part of 2021, okay, I mean, at least for Malaysians, okay, but somehow it felt like this time itself, right, it just felt that it passes by very, very quickly. And one of the reasons why is also because it's like the planetary alignment, the movements that in a way impact on the energy, okay, of the solar system, especially on Earth itself, how it in a way affect us, okay, has been moving and changing rapidly. That's why traditionally, okay, if you look at Feng Shui, every time when it's nearing to every transitional period, okay, of the year itself, you will also be able to see, as in like, a lot of people are in a way like going in to do renovations for their house, okay. A lot of Feng Shui practitioners will be sharing about like how we need to prepare our home Feng Shui in order for us to cater to the new period that is upcoming. All right, how people will in a way purposely in a way transit or change, okay, like move house, renovate the house, make major or massive renovations, okay, or you will see that some big brands and all that, they will start in a way rebranding their company, their logos and all these things. So especially for those who in a way adhere to the principle of Feng Shui. So every time during a transitional period, that is what happened. All right, so now tonight, okay, the topic is about period 9, Feng Shui activation methods and purposes. I've covered this briefly before, but I know that, okay, over the past like 1 month, I have had many of you, it's like new followers, new students, okay, new supporters, okay, that many of you actually in a way join this particular Facebook page, okay, right? Probably you are in a way attracted to the topic, astrology, Feng Shui, all right, and Chinese metaphysics, all right? So therefore, I want to, in a way, once and for all, share this particular topic again, so that right from now onwards, when I actually share, okay, like massively, okay, on exclusive dates that I've selected, especially selected dates where you should be doing certain Feng Shui activations at home or in your office to heighten the energy, okay, to in a way enhance the energy, or in a way when you enhance the energy, it can enhance our luck, it boosts our opportunity. When I ask you to do that, at least, okay, through this Facebook Live, you will understand why are you doing such Feng Shui activation? What are the methods? What are the tools, okay, that you'll be using, and why is it so? Because as I always mention, I do not really want my supporters to follow something blindly, okay? I do not want all of you to just like, no, oh, this is a date or this is a time, okay, just use it and do some certain activations without really understand how these things work, all right? So first of all, I know it's like, you know, when I start talking and all that, because tonight itself, okay, I'm a bit kanchiang because I need to actually finish, okay, all these informations, and yeah, I've forgotten to say hi to all of you. Veronica Po, who else is that? Patricia Tan, all right, Andrea, okay, Bella, Jen Ho, hi, okay, thank you for tuning in, and of course, okay, if you can, I would really appreciate it if you can actually help me to share this session out on your Facebook feed so that it can actually reach out to more people. I would really appreciate that, all right? So to all of you, hi Shok Yi, okay, I suppose Chang Feng will be there as well. Okay, so because tonight I'm down with one laptop, okay, so I'm using my iPad, so when it's scrolling itself, right, the chances is I might not be able to actually see your comments, okay, so if by any chance that I miss out your comments, please, okay, accept my apology, okay, Al's Gems, okay, Jennifer Ong, okay, thank you for being here, Jack Uy, okay, good evening to you as well, all right, thank you for being here, and first and foremost, I really hope that you can help me to share this session out, okay, on your Facebook, so that it can actually help me to reach out to more people. Thank you so much. Okay, hi Artemis. Okay, hi Artemis from Texas. All right. So I wonder what time is it there for you now. Thank you so much for tuning in. All right. So enough of greetings. In case I never call out your name, all right. My apology. I really want to interact with you. I really want to see all your comments. In fact, most of the time I do read through the comments, all right? So if you have any greetings, any wishes, where you are from, please write it in the comments below. In case I miss you out, okay, at least when after the live, okay, when I go through back this particular session, okay, I know you are there. Hi Jin Wong, thank you so much, okay, Madel, okay, Madel Sasson, okay, thank you so much for being here. 7 a.m. in Texas, all right, thank you so much, okay, good morning to you. All right, back here. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier on, okay, why period 9? Why is it like in this particular years itself, right? Okay, people become so enthusiastic into like refurbishing their home. It's like doing renovations, moving house and all that. Because over the thousands of years, okay, or hundreds of years where Shen Gong flying stars has in a way been discovered, okay, every time during this 20 year cycle, people wants to renew, people wants to upgrade, people wants, okay, their home, their offices and all that, in a way to be in par with the external energy. It means that during the rapid movement, okay, of the planetary alignment, of the stars or the constellations, okay, which is happening up there, above there in the universe, okay, or in the solar system, we want that whatever, in a way, the energy on Earth, in our environment itself, okay, to be in par, to be connected, okay, to blend in with that energy. And that is, in other words, we say to flow together with the energy. And that is the purpose we pay attention to Feng Shui. It's not superstitious. It's not something that we do out of the fear of missing out. It's not just because of other people doing it, we also want to do it, just in case, like, okay, if we don't do it, we will miss out on something. It's not like that, okay? When Feng Shui happens, it's like, why is it crucial and important for us to activate certain energy? It's because so that our home, our environment, okay, our offices, the energy within it, when the transitional energy happens, okay, it means that it will affect the environment, especially outside. But when we have a home, okay, internally, the energy, most of the time, it becomes secure, okay? It becomes secure, it is more stable, or in other words, it can also become trapped. Now imagine, externally, the energy is, in a way, refreshing itself, okay? It's taking a reboot, it's changing. Since that we are transitioning into a new period, it is changing rapidly outside. But internal home itself, if we are not doing the changes, okay, somehow the pressure external and the pressure internal, it will not in a way go in a flow. So due to this, in a way, misalignment, it will affect our opportunities when it comes to our luck, our opportunities when it comes to our career and our progress in life. So therefore, Feng Shui practitioners, okay, whenever we know that we are nearing that change, like now, okay, right, this year and next year will be the last year of period 8, right? And 2024 is the first entrance, official entrance of period 9. But you know that energy changes gradually. So therefore, last year onwards, you know that I emphasize a lot of activations at home or in offices, okay, in order for us to boost up that energy. So that internal and external, it actually goes with that flow, so that we can, in a way, tap, okay, into the external energy and the energy which is taking place, okay, in the planetary alignment. Okay, so that's the purpose why we need to do Feng Shui activation. So when it comes to Feng Shui activations, then the next question is like, some people might ask, okay, what exactly are we activating? It's like different tools. Some people use like, it use water. Some people use like different figurines. People use like different tools, different materials, different metals, okay? So what exactly are we activating? Now remember, Feng Shui is not something that's created on Earth, okay? Feng Shui is a tool that reflectively, in a way, reflect on the alignments, okay, or the planetary energy from our solar system, okay? That is Feng Shui, and also the stars and the constellations in the universe, all right, or in our galaxy at least, all right? So Feng Shui, in a way, when it comes to Feng Shui activations, okay, when we look at like the elements that we are activating, first of all, we need to understand what is these 5 elements? What does it represent, okay? So generally, if you look at the first particular sharing of slides over here, you can see that, okay, the 5 elements that we constantly or most of the time talk about when it comes to Chinese metaphysics or Chinese astrology, we are referring to these 5 planets. The 5 planets, which I would say this is like most nearer to the sun, because those of you who follow me, you know that, okay, why are we doing all these things? Why are we making progress? Why do we need to be successful? In other words, it's like we want to be enlightened. We want to be the best version of ourselves. Or those of us who are in spirituality, we want, in a way, to actually, in a way, go into like the essence of our spirits or our soul. We want to be the best version of ourselves. And of course, I talk about it as well. In our solar system, the nearest star that is nearest to us is the sun. So when we look at the 5 elements, we look at these 5 particular planets, okay, which is nearest to the sun, right? And you can see that it's like Mercury, okay, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. Of course, we have Uranus, we also have Neptune, and eventually Pluto, and a lot of like other, even newly, okay, discovered planets as well. But these are the 5 main ones, okay, because it is nearest to Earth, first and foremost. It is also, in a way, in an orbit that is nearest to the sun as well. So out of these 5 planets, somehow our forefathers in Chinese metaphysics, it has related, okay, it has related planets to a certain element in Chinese astrology, right? And of course, the main, like most talk about is Jupiter, okay, which is the big one right behind me. And in fact, Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system, okay? It is the biggest one. In fact, its size itself, okay, is double the size collectively, the mass of all the planets in our solar system. Imagine you add Saturn, Mars, Venus, okay, Mercury, Pluto, all add in together, double the size. Jupiter is that big, all right? So therefore, planet Jupiter here, in a way, holds a significant impact, okay, into our life. That's why every year when people look into Chinese astrology, they talk about like, Fan Tai Sui, offend the Grand Duke Jupiter. We are referring to this big particular planet over here, okay? So in terms of astrology, Jupiter here represents the wood element, all right? So here, I'm going to explain briefly what are all these 5 elements and why Mercury is water, why Venus is metal, why Venus is not fire, okay, right? Because Venus is the hottest, why is it not fire? Then why Mars is fire? Okay, why Jupiter is wood and why Saturn is earth? Okay, so let me briefly explain this first. All right, now first of all, okay, now this particular first one I'm going to share with you at least like some sharing from Wikipedia, all right? But then later on you need to do some Google and research on your own. Now first of all, you look at planet Mercury. Right? Now, Mercury itself is actually categorized under water element. Now, why is it categorized under water element? As you can see that Mercury has the most eccentric orbit of all the planets in the solar system. So out of all the planets itself, right, okay, the movement, okay, of Mercury or planet Mercury itself, right, okay, it is most eccentric, okay? It's like the movement is rapid. It is in a way almost like unpredictable. It's just like the movement of it is more drastic and most eccentric. Now, come to think about the 5 elements when it comes to the natural elements of water. Now, water is also an element where it is like always movement, okay? Sometimes it's calm, sometimes it's wavy, sometimes it is like really like very, very strong wave, and sometimes it can be tsunami. So you know that water itself, right, it's also in a way move rapidly, changes a lot. It is also, in other words, very eccentric, right? Because it really depends on the environment, okay? The movement itself, sometimes it is calmer, sometimes it is stronger. So therefore, out of so many planets you see, okay, you can also see that Mercury, besides of having this particular most eccentric orbital, it also has the most retrograde. Okay, I'm sure some of you have heard about Mercury retrograde. Okay, so whenever it retrogrades itself, right, it creates that, like, in a way, circular movement and like wavy movement. So therefore, in Chinese astrology, anything that is in a way moving rapidly, okay, eccentrically, it's like a lot of wavy form, okay, a lot of loop that is making, we categorize it under the group of water, just like how water behaves. Therefore, when you actually pay attention to the movement of Mercury, to the what we call the attributions of this planet itself, you can see that somehow the planet itself, the way of its movement, the energy movement itself, okay, resembles a lot of the wave of water. All right, so if we look back into the 5 planets, okay, earlier on, you can see that Mercury now, okay, somehow our forefather decided that it represents, okay, the element of water. All right, so now the next one, okay, the next one is Venus. All right, and Venus here, okay, somehow it is in a way categorized under metal. All right, why? Okay, is the energy of Venus now categorized under metal? Now, when you study, okay, the orbital, now this one you have to just search on your own, okay, because this is not the main part. I just want you to understand why these 5 planets relating to the 5 elements, because the most essential part is the methods and the purposes of the activation later on. All right, so when you look at Venus, now Venus itself, okay, when you look at the orbit, okay, when the, like, you just search and Google about it, planet Venus somehow, okay, the orbit itself is the most circular. It's almost circle. Comparatively, it's like elliptical orbit from the rest of the planet. Venus is the one, okay, that somehow forms the most circular orbit, all right? And then you know that out of the 5 elements, okay, when a circular, if you study Feng Shui and all that, a circle represents a metal element, all right? So you see that when Venus, in a way, circulates, okay, in a circle movement, okay, it represents metal, all right? And therefore, now, fire over here is represented by Mars, okay? And Mars, if you, in a way, like look into it, right, the orbit of Mars in a way also changes rapidly, and most of all is like you always see Mars, like sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't, sometimes you see it dimmer, sometimes you see it brighter. It really depending on the position of Mars, okay, from Earth, that when you're looking out. So Mars is one of the planets, okay, when you actually in a way observe from Earth itself, you see that as if it's like a blinking fire, okay. Sometimes it's brighter, it's very bright, and sometimes it's dimmer, sometimes almost that you can't really see it, okay, that much, okay, almost like difficult to locate it, and then at times that it becomes very vibrant. So when it has that nature, okay, so fire in a way, okay, represents, okay, the fire element. It's like your candlelight fire. When it is burning, sometimes it somehow, okay, due to some circumstances of environment, okay, you will see that it picks up in terms of its strength. The fire becomes brighter, and then at times it becomes dimmer, and sometimes it becomes almost like it's dying off, okay, and then the next moment it will catch up again. So therefore, with this particular, I would say, personality, okay, Mars itself is categorized under fire element. All right, so now it comes to Jupiter, which is the biggest planet in our solar system. All right, and when you look at Jupiter, now it represents wood. Okay, now why does what does wood mean? Right, and of course, wood here represents is like expansion, growth. Every time when you look at wood, okay, it represents growth. So therefore, okay, like every year, you know, whenever it's our year, like example, this year is the year of the tiger, and the tiger goes under what we call, okay, 本命年 in Chinese, means that you are going through the Grand Duke Jupiter. Grand Duke Jupiter is in your celestial animal sign. It means that, okay, as I mentioned in my annual talk, all my recent 12 animal sharing, that whenever the Grand Duke Jupiter resides in your animal palace, it means that that is a year of massive lessons, challenges. It means that, okay, why you have these lessons and challenges? Because it's a year for you to have that massive growth. It represents growth. But in order for us to grow, right, okay, you know, growing pain, in order for us to grow, okay, there are chances sometimes, especially where we have procrastinated a lot. Especially we have, in a way, delayed our lessons and our challenges and the tests that we are supposed to actually overcome. We have been delaying it. We have been living in denial. When the year comes, okay, when we are supposed to grow rapidly, we are supposed to expand rapidly, that is the year where people will find that, oh my God, this is a bad year. This is so bad luck. Why? Because all the tests and challenge comes to you and you're not ready for it. So therefore, whenever people say offend Grand Duke Jupiter becomes a bad luck, it is not. In fact, the actual fact is, okay, it is a year of rapid growth for anyone who is ready for it. Okay, therefore Jupiter represents wood. Now I know, okay, probably you see that my camera and my picture is lagging, okay. Once it lag until like a moment where it's totally non-moving, okay, probably later you just don't bother whether you can see me or not. Just ensure you can hear me, okay, because that is the most important thing. All right, so back to Jupiter. Now then, why Jupiter represents wood? Okay, since now we know Jupiter represents rapid growth, okay? It is like massive growth. It is a year when the Jupiter that resides in our certain palace or certain animal sign, okay? It means that that is a year where the person has the highest opportunity to be better, all right, to break through. So now if you look at Jupiter, okay, why is it categorized under wood, at least to my understanding to it, okay? Why is it under this is wood? Because now, if you do a search, okay, Jupiter is the only planet in our solar system where the barycenter, okay, of between, okay, the barycenter between Jupiter and the sun itself, okay, is the only planet where you see that barycenter is out, okay, from the center of the sun. Now, barycenter means it's like, no, search about it, okay? Barycenter means that it's like, no, between two objects or two mass, okay? It, in a way, depending on the size, okay, and also the mass of this particular object, it finds the center of gravity between the two subjects, okay? And you know Jupiter is huge, okay? It's further away from the sun, but the sun is in a way, the biggest, okay, sphere, okay, in our solar system. So due to that mass itself, okay, you will see that instead of finding this barycenter within the sun itself, okay, you will see Jupiter is the only planet where the barycenter is out of the sun. So most of the time, if you really thought of like, no, all the planets are orbiting around the sun, okay, it's actually orbiting around the barycenter. It's that central gravity pull between the planets and the sun. Just because that the rest of the planets, it is small, and also because of its location, all the rest of the planets, the barycenter is within the size of the sun. Therefore, it assumes or it looks as if that the planets are orbiting around the sun, except Jupiter. Jupiter itself has a barycenter which is external, it's out of the sun. It means that this barycenter or the center of gravity, in a way, expands beyond the sun itself, okay? When something expands beyond, it branches out, it reaches out, okay? It is the element of wood. Right, so when you see that, right, when this particular reaching out and expand beyond, that have the energy to represent Jupiter. So therefore, Jupiter now, we categorize it under wood element, and it represents growth. It represents an opportunity to expand beyond something, to expand beyond the sun, to expand beyond certain things that we are doing, to expand beyond our comfort zone. So that's how, in a way, we actually find that meaning of the 5 elements and how we put it into meaning. All right, and of course the last one, Saturn, which is the second largest planet, okay, in our solar system. And it is in a way categorized under the sun. So if you really look at it, out of this particular 5, okay, now we are not looking at Neptune, we are not looking at Uranus, we are just looking at this 5 itself. And out of the 5, Saturn has the slowest orbit around the sun. Okay, it will take Saturn to in a way completely go around or orbit around the sun in 29.5 years. So therefore, okay, Saturn is the slowest moving. So out of 5 elements, you know that the slowest moving is the earth element. All right, so therefore it's like earth element over here is represented by Saturn, because it's almost like non-moving. When you see, it's like how many circles have earth and the Mars, okay, and even like Jupiter have done, because Jupiter in a way circle around the sun every 12 years. Every 12 years itself is one circle. That's why every 12 years there's one cycle of the animal sign. But Saturn takes 29.5 years. All right, so therefore this is categorized under the earth element. All right, so I hope that at least this thing here, in a way, shed some understanding for you in terms of the 5 elements, okay, when it comes to Feng Shui. All right, so now the next thing is, as I mentioned earlier on, we are in a transitional period of period 9, where energy is rapid, it is massive, it is ever changing now. Now is the heighten of that energy. That's why if you really see, if you follow all these astronomers and all that, okay, right, you know that, right, I've shared on my private group, I already mentioned that even solar flares, solar storms, okay, that I'm talking about, okay, the solar storms are now moving towards another season of maximum flares. We are now in the way going towards that particular season. Why? Because the external energy is like the energy in the solar system now is moving rapidly. So it will affect, okay, all this phenomena that's going on. So therefore, okay, for us on Earth, if we practice, okay, the ancient wisdom of Feng Shui, we know that as above, so below. When externally it is moving rapidly, so must we internally. So when it comes to Feng Shui, okay, we need to also in a way ensure that our home, our offices, the energy is moving in par, okay, comparatively to the energy externally, which is in a way that you see all these massive changes going on, all the pandemic going on, all this like massive, it's like news of like drastic, surprising weather changes, okay, I mean surprising, non-surprising, okay, but which is exactly going on for this few years itself, okay, and that is because the energy now is rapidly movement. So now we know that, okay, this is ongoing. We must do the activations to ensure that internally at home or offices, it also matches with those energy. So how to match it? So we use different element, okay, because different element have different movement. As I mentioned, they are like no circular movement of energy, they are wavy form of energy that somehow, okay, helps us, okay, to recreate using natural element to recreate that form of energy within the house itself to boost the energy up. All right, so all the 5 elements here can be used for Feng Shui activation. But what are the purpose of the 5 elements? Now you know that you have water, metal, fire, wood, and earth. So all these 5 elements can be used in order for us to boost and activate Feng Shui. But what is it for? Okay, if we use water, what is it for? If we use metal, what is it for? Okay, what's the purpose, okay, of this particular elements that has been used when we select a good date and select a certain location at home to activate it? So now we bring you to the next sharing, okay, of Feng Shui activation. Okay, when you look at this particular slide, you know that out of the 5 elements, okay, the purpose of this Feng Shui Qi activations, okay, the 5 elements now helps us, okay, to either circulate the Qi, to disperse the Qi, to transform the Qi, all right, or to, in a way, to collect the Qi, all right. So in a way, we can, like, in a way, transform the Qi, circulate the Qi. I think she missed out, okay, one thing. Expand the Qi, okay, I didn't check on the slides, okay, sorry, all right, and missed out on one thing. Now, circulations of Qi, disperse the Qi, transform the Qi, then after that, add on one more note over here, okay, that is expanding Qi, okay, expand the Qi, and the last one is collecting of Qi, all right, Joanna, all right, hi, okay, good evening. So, thanks to all of you who are watching now, okay, I really appreciate it, okay, my apology if I'm not paying attention to your comments, okay, thank you so much for supporting me. Okay, I will look into your comment later on. Please do share your comments and your good words. I mean, if you appreciate appreciate this, do share with me. Where you're from, share with me, all right? If you're first timers, do share with me as well, because after this session, then I will look into the comments or if you have any question, all right? So again, also, if you can, please help me to share this session out so that it can actually reach out to more people. I truly appreciate that. All right, back to here. So all these 5, okay, remember it's 5, okay, it's circulate, disperse, transform, then add one more, expand, okay, then only comes to collect, okay. Now, circulations of qi represented by water element. So when we activate the water, okay, it helps to circulate. Remember just now when I show you like Mercury, when Mercury go retrograding, all right? So can we see that particular video of Mercury retrograde again, all right? If that's possible, just add in on top of this. So in case, okay, of people who missed it earlier on, you can, in a way, look at it now. All right, so yeah, okay, on and off you will see that my camera is like frozen and all that, so please excuse me. Now can you see that when Mercury movement, okay, from Earth itself, when you look at and observe Mercury, right, okay, Mercury will actually move, okay, in the most eccentric way. At the same time, it also creates more loops. You see, more circular movement. You see that it's circulating and circulating, and every time it circulates, it creates a Mercury retrograde. Now, I'm not going into detail what exactly is Mercury retrograde. Probably we'll leave that into another topic. All right, so back to this particular Feng Shui activation side. All right, so now you understand that water helps us to circulate, just like, you know, how we actually observe, okay, from Earth itself, how it is in a way circulating in that movement. All right, so when we do a water activation, it helps to circulate the energy. The qi over here means the energy at the home. All right, so it helps to circulate the energy at your home or your office. Now, if you use metal element, okay, metal element, it helps you to disperse the qi, okay, to disperse it. I will explain to you later on how can it help to disperse the qi, all right? So metal is to disperse the qi, okay, and when you use fire, fire element helps us to transform the qi. Now, think about it, okay? When fire, whenever it's like, that's why most religion, okay, in the world itself, okay, almost all, if I'm not wrong, okay, all the religions somehow uses fire to a certain extent. Why? Because religions are supposed to be transformative. It's enlightening. It's about enlightenment. So fire is the only element that can help to enlighten the energy, okay, of other elements. It can boil the water and change it from liquid form to vapor state to a gas, okay. It can melt a hard solid metal into liquid form, all right. It can also, in a way, like, you know, scorch the earth and turn clay into clay pot, harden it, all right. It can transform wood into ashes, okay, to create heat and fire energy. So only fire can do that, okay, out of the 5 elements. So therefore, fire is used to transform, okay, the energy or the qi. And after transformations of qi, you have what we call expansion of qi. How do you expand qi? That's wood element, all right? So when you use wood element, it is supposed to help us to grow, right? To grow the energy, but you know that energy cannot be created nor destroyed, okay? So here I put in expansion. It helps to expand it, okay? To, in a way, right, you know, spread it out. So wood element helps us to spread the energy at home. And finally, earth element helps us to collect the energy at home. All right, so if you understand how this works, okay, now you know that every time during a sessions or a talk, okay, like those of you who attended like my previous Saturday, my annual talk, there are certain dates where I emphasize on different activations, okay, using water example, okay, and out of this activation itself, okay, you will see the water activation. Sometimes I will ask you to create something like this, okay, where I'll ask you, okay, I need this activation. So when it comes to water activation, you need to create a water that looks like this. It means that you need that shooting fountain effect, okay? That massive, you need a big pail. Now this pail itself, okay, is good enough. Let's say, example, if you have like 1,000 over square feet, okay, it is good enough. But if you have an even bigger house itself, it will be good for you to get even bigger pail. Now those of you Malaysians, I know that you can get much more bigger than this, okay? We have that at home, all right? So at least about from 1,000, 2,000 plus 1,005, it is safe to use this. Now anything above 2,000, it will be great, okay, if you can use even a bigger barrel, okay? Now the barrel itself, remember, it needs to have, okay, now a bigger open top. It means that the surface of the water, okay, needs also to be in a way open, right? Because sometimes if not, you will tend to get a barrel which is like big body but narrower mouth, okay? If the mouth is narrow, then it's not as great. We want the, in a way, the opening, okay, of that particular container, pail or barrel, whatever that you're using, to be big enough. And I want the effect of the water to look like this. It means that the water needs to be deep. You need to have a substantial amount of water. Now, why I need to put out this session is because this is a session, the next time you ask me how to do an activation, I will send you this link to this Facebook Live. And you have to, in a way, like, go through it. Because every time I share about activation, surely there will be some questions. People ask, oh, can I use a small little pill? Can I use a small little fountain with that crystal rolling ball going on? No, I wouldn't say no, you can't. Up to you. But come to think about it. Now, try to think, you want to activate a chi of your home, which is 1,000 over square feet or almost 2,000 square feet. We're talking about a big space. So if you use a small little container, okay, to have that rolling crystal ball that's rolling and you hardly have any water, that is not an activation. As I always say, is even you flush your toilet bowl, the water is stronger than that rolling ball of your crystal fountain. That's not activation. It won't help, okay? So you need to do something, okay, in a way, how to say, can that match, okay, with the size, okay, of your premise, okay? So therefore, if you're doing about factories, okay, then factories probably you need a few of this put together and a few pump, or you need an even bigger barrel, okay? Because it really depends on how big is the size. Understand? All right? So when you set up the water like this, when you have that shooting fountain effect, means that the pump that you put inside, firstly, it needs to be strong enough. It needs to be powerful enough, all right? And then secondly, the pump itself cannot be submissive unto the bottom of the pail. Because when it's at the bottom of the pail, the chances is you won't be able to get this fountain effect. So what you need to do is you need to put in something, okay, to stand the pump up. You can put a stool inside. For this case, I think we put a stool inside. This is doing for J Group Office, which is the official sponsor of all my Facebook Live. All right. So the thing is, we put a tool or anything. It can be your standee or whatever, as long as you ensure that the pump now is near to the surface of the water, so that when you switch on the pump, it creates this effect. The stronger the water, the better the effect. Now, you see that this two activation here is different from this circulation. Okay, so see, this is for activation. It means that, okay, when I select certain dates where I want to pump up the energy, I want the energy, let's look at the comment, when I want the energy to be activated, to wake up the energy, okay, when the energy becomes dormant, becomes stagnant, I want to wake it up, I use this method. This is called water activation. All of you following? All right. But let's say now I've activated, okay, due to certain sharings, okay, I've activated the energy. Now I know that this particular place, the activations is good enough. It is strong enough. The energy has woke up. Now the energy have woke up. Imagine now every energy in this corner is like vibrant, is moving. Now I want to ensure that the energy from this corner of the house or the office to move and spread towards other corner of the house or your office. So I use a circulating method. So this is a circulating method. It's different methods, it is different setup. So make it very clearly. So activation is this, circulating is this. Okay, so what we do during circulating is we also use a big pail or a barrel, okay, or a container that has an open space, okay, it means an open mouth. We put now the pump, okay, we try to tie it or figure out a way, okay, to tie it in a certain way. So now that instead of the water shooting up or sprouting out, it shoots to the side, okay. So sometimes I will say, make sure the water goes clockwise. Example here, this is clockwise. Now sometimes I will say that make it anti-clockwise. Then you will have to put it another way around. Now this method of activation is called circulations of chi. It is different, right? So criteria is it needs to have a massive amount of water, big enough, okay, in relative to your home, okay, or your offices. Secondly, big open wide container, barrel or pail, okay? And thirdly, a strong enough submersible pump or aquarium pump. It needs to be strong enough. If you just get a pump which is so weak, okay, when you in a way activate it, the water is hardly moving, that's not good enough. Okay, so you need, as either you don't do, or if you want to do, you try to do the best that you can. So this is water method. All of you following, if you have any questions, do drop it in the comment. Okay, Kong Yu here. Okay, and Nicole will help me, okay, to filter through the questions, whichever relevant. Probably he will highlight to me later. I will answer to your questions. All right. And then, now, besides water activations, which is circulating the qi or the energy at home, we also have what we call, okay, a metal element of activation. Now, metal element is dispersing the qi. Disperse it, okay? It means that the certain area itself, the energy becomes stagnant. All right? So it's like instead of just, in a way, activating it, instead of just waking it up, you want it to disperse. 打散佢啊, okay? Like just imagine, I mean, people like me, if you're constantly having this, like, a lot of fats in your body, and like, if you go through, some, like, slimming centers and all that, they have, like, the most, like, high-tech machines that tells you, okay, that explains to you, stubborn fats first needs to be break out, okay? It breaks out your stubborn fat first. Then after that, only they will try to, in a way, flow it, okay, to detox it out, okay, or in a way to burn it. So the thing is, like, when you have a stubborn fat or some stubborn energy or stagnant energy that somehow are cluttered at one corner, we want to disperse it, loosen it up, okay? So when we want to do that, okay, we use, one of the method is metal element method, okay? So now, in the olden days, okay, those days itself, you might not have, like, nice gongs and wind chimes, okay, and singing bowl like this. So a lot of times, right, people house use what to disperse qi? They use pots and pans, okay? That's why if you really listen to a lot of folklore stories or whatever, right, you see that, okay, whenever they want to, like, brighten up, like, negative energy, when they're afraid of something, they're fearful of something, they use their pot and pans and break a lot of sound, okay? So when you heat the pots and pan, it actually, in a way, disperses out this metal energy, okay? So the purpose of metal energy is helping us to disperse certain energy, okay? So when to disperse, when to circulate, of course, that one needs a Feng Shui practitioner class, okay? Because you need to be a Feng Shui practitioner in order for you to know when to prescribe what medication. But why I need to share with you this is because during my annual talk, example, the one that's passed this Saturday, and the coming Sunday in Cantonese itself, okay? And then, of course, we have another one coming up, okay? All these workshops, okay, or whatever, that I will emphasize on Feng Shui activation, I will tell you the exclusive date and time to do different methods. So at least now you understand what exactly are you doing rather than you just running around the house, okay, banging to metal elements, okay, at your home without understanding it, okay? So the next moment you know that whenever, right, metal element is in a way deployed, right, this is supposed to help you to disperse qi. Normally is of stagnant qi, okay? Stubborn qi means that it becomes so dense, so heavy, okay, at certain area, you want to disperse it out. Okay, so this method, you can use the gong, you can use wind chime, and of course, my favorite method is either the gong or the singing bowl, okay? A big singing bowl, not the small little palm-sized one, okay? I mean, you can still use it, I mean, better than none. But of course, if budget is okay and you can invest, then use a bigger singing bowl. And if you really cannot, use your wok, the frying pan, okay? Or even your pots is good enough, okay? You don't even need all these things. Just bang it. I mean, if you have expensive pots, then be careful, okay? You have your tefal or whatever, be careful, if you bang it, it's like somehow you might dent it or like, scratch it, okay? But at least that's the thing that easiest way that you can do is say Feng Shui doesn't need to be expensive, okay? Right? It's all natural element and these are the things, right? So if you have the gong, use the gong. If not, okay, you can use the also like singing bowl, wind chimes. It means that you take any chime, stick into the area, massively shake it, okay? So that this metal, when it is in a way like clanking on each other itself, it will keep on dispersing the metal energy to help you loosen up all this stubborn energy, which is in a way gets stagnant in a particular corner of your house or office. All right, okay, and then of course you can use also the bell, okay, Ratra and bells, this is a bell, you can use it, or tingsha, okay, the Tibetan tingsha is like two round things that you normally like hit it together. It gives you a very high pitch of like metal sound, so that can be used. Or this is my chakras chimes. Chakra chimes is a part of a healing tool, so if you have it, you can use it as well because it's made of metal and it does resonate that sound as well. All right, so remember, metal element help you to disperse qi for stubborn fat, stubborn qi, stagnant qi at certain corner or certain corners of your office or home. All right, and then now after dispersing the qi, right, we also have transforming qi. So when it comes to transforming qi, we use of fire element, okay? So fire is supposed to transform the qi, as I mentioned earlier on, okay? That's why almost all religions, okay, use a certain amount of fire or candle offerings or whatsoever, okay? Because fire is supposed to enlighten, okay? It's like no energy that enlighten, okay, the rest of the energy around, okay? So therefore you can use now fire energy, okay? Of course, when you do a Feng Shui consult, there are certain areas we'll tell the officers or at home, okay, there are certain corners we want it to be a bright corner. We have to ensure preferably you open up, okay, some air well or whatever so that the sun can penetrate through, okay, and the sun is the best fire energy, okay, it's natural. Now, other than that, we can use floor lamp, okay, any lamps, okay, any lightings, okay, that is also fire energy. We can also use candles, means that certain times I'll ask to actually like light a candle at home. Now, the best is definitely the sun, okay, because candles, you see, because one candle itself is it's not strong enough. But you see, for safety purposes, I cannot ask you to actually light 100 candles at home, okay? Right? Probably it's like, people would think that I'm crazy. But we just do as much as we can, okay? So normally candles itself, okay, is for us to help transforming the energy. That's why when it comes to Feng Shui, we normally want to place, okay, the kitchen, all right, which we have the highest amount of fire element in a bad sector, okay, I would say a negative sector where the energy or the qi is normally dense, heavy. We put the kitchen there so that every time we cook, okay, when the fire elements is activated, it helps to, lighten up all this energy at this negative sector, okay, so that is one of the purpose. So we use candles or fire at certain area to ensure that those areas itself, the energy becomes enlightened, okay? So when the energy becomes enlightened, it cannot dense up, it will not weighs down, okay? Because why certain house brings negative impact to the people or occupants staying in it, okay? Because the energy becomes stagnate. It becomes like, stagnation of energy. It's just like why people in terms of like getting sickness or illnesses, because stagnation of energy in our body. Because according to TCM, okay, or Chinese medicine, all right, anything, any parts of our meridians in the body itself, when the qi or the flow of energy is stuck, it cannot flow through, something is stuck there, eventually it will manifest out as a health issue, okay, or physical issues or problems. So therefore the house is the same, all right? So any parts when the corner got stuck energy, all right, so we want to in a way enlighten it, okay, to make sure that it becomes like lighter so that it can flow all over again, all right? So therefore we use candles, light, and the best is natural sunlight. So when you use candle, you can use one candle. Now normally it is best to use, okay, what I call is like odd number, because when it comes to I Ching, it's just a visual, okay? So now every time when you use odd number, okay, it represents a yang, okay, attributes, and even numbers represents a yin attribute. We want enlightenment, we want to enlighten to a yang attributes, okay? So therefore using odd numbers means you use like one candle or 3 candles rather than using 2 candles, all right? So there's a purpose. That's why if you look at Taoism, when Taoism normally still use a lot of incense to pray, right? We either put 1 incense or 3 incense, okay, or 5 incense for a certain deities, and then or 9 incense, okay? So normally we don't put 2 incense together, because 2 incense together, it is yin. Normally we do it during funerals or while passing of people, okay? So that's how, okay, all these things has been used. So if you want to use candles, use odd numbers rather than even numbers. But again, right, some of you, oh my God, all this while I've been using even numbers. I always like 2 candles together. It's fine. Remember, Feng Shui is not something to make us paranoid, to be fearful of, okay? Remember, if you just keep on burning 2 candles, it won't kill us, okay? So remember that. But now, since we have the awareness, we understand how things work, might as well, we just put either 1 or put 3, okay? So instead of putting 2, because visualize, the imagery of having 2 itself is more yin, all right? So therefore, generally, we put odd numbers better than yin numbers. Understand? All right, so this is about transforming qi. So the next moment, I select certain dates, okay, certain timing, and I say, light the candles or burn the candles at certain areas. You know why is it so, okay, and how to actually get it done. All right, now, after we transform the qi, there's also another method where I actually call it expansion of qi. How to expand it? How to grow the qi? And wood element represents the growth of qi, right? Jupiter. So growth energy or expansion of energy represents by wood, which naturally we use plants, all right? So when you use plant itself, okay, we can be any plants. That's why we call them Feng Shui plant. Why people say, oh, Feng Shui plant? Feng Shui plant doesn't mean that plant has magical power. Feng Shui plant normally are labeled, okay, to plants at your country, okay, at wherever you are, that those plants are more difficult to take care of, okay, right? There are certain countries, examples, okay, the plants are very adaptive to like a desert, okay, like cactus family and all that. No, they need minimal water, okay, comparatively to probably like tropical areas in like Malaysia and all that. You know, sometimes you have rainy season, every day it rains, okay, so in the wild itself, you hardly see cactus because every time you rain itself, it won't survive. So normally we in a way choose, we have to understand. We don't follow only China because even though Feng Shui is originated from China, but China has its own local locations, plants, okay? So we need to understand in different countries, we need to prescribe different things. But in summary, the Feng Shui plant or wood element here, it just means that, okay, these plants are very sensitive, okay, to growth. It means that it require a certain amount of sunlight. It requires a certain way of handling water. It cannot be too much water, cannot be too little water, cannot be too direct to the sun. Example, the more sensitive the plant is, okay, the more difficult for you to take care of it, then you can label it under Feng Shui plant. Why is it so? Because, okay, it gives us an indication. It's like a compass at home. So when a Feng Shui practitioner asks you to put this certain plant at a certain corner of your home, okay, it is actually like a, how to say, like a detector, okay? So when we put the plant there, then the Feng Shui practitioners will observe, okay? Will this plant thrive or will the plant die, okay? If the plant, every time you put in certain corner, it keeps dying, it means the energy at this corner is not good. There needs to be a way for us to, in a way, cater to the energy. How to, in a way, transform it, how to change it, how to mitigate it. So the plant here, in a way, represents the expansion of energy. But imagine you put a certain corner, it doesn't expand, it doesn't grow, it dies immediately. It means that this area doesn't have Sheng Qi or growth Qi. It only has Qi that kills the plant. So therefore, this corner needs to be mitigated. And then the practitioner's mind would think of ways how to mitigate it, can it be mitigated, okay, and how to actually strategize that particular ways. So therefore, plants work as an indicator, okay, so that now, okay, you know that whether this particular area itself is containing of, I would say, positive energy, expansion energy, growth energy, okay, that somehow whatever that you put there, it will grow nicely, okay, healthily, abundantly. So therefore, wood element is represented by this. Now, some people now, okay, they put it unto the extent of like, you know, oh, can I put plants that bought from some like, you know, the fake plants, the plastic decor plant, okay, which looks almost real, but it's fake. Can that be used? Or can I just put like a painting of like, you know, plants, okay, very nice, big, huge painting. Can you do that or not? I mean, if you ask me, okay, everything you ask me sure can one, okay? All right, because at the end of the day, I do not want, okay, for people who don't understand, I don't have the time to explain to you all the time, all right? If you ask me whatever you want, do it lah, okay? But if you ask from Feng Shui perspective, will this painting work? Will this artificial plant work? It won't, because it doesn't have that energy. It can't tell you the indication whether this corner will die or not. And then you will start living in denial. Wow, my plant every day is so nice, because it's artificial. It won't die one. Okay, if your artificial plant also die, I tell you, you better move out from the house. Understand? So that's how it works. I know every time when I talk about this, a lot of people ask questions because they're afraid, they're fearful. So I hope that this particular sharing itself, okay, will in a way help enough people to understand how this Feng Shui activation methods work, its purposes, so that now onwards, instead of just asking question, you know how to think and get and derive the answer yourself. Right? So wood element over here, expansion of energy. All right, and then after that, it brings us to the final element, which is earth element. And earth element is 聚氣 or collective energy, collect the energy. It ensures that the energy, in a way, collected there, it doesn't flow out. So earth element, of course, okay, you can use crystals, okay? And why I share with you all this, because these are the crystals that I have the supplier from Shanghai. And in fact, this crystals itself has been sold, okay, to one of my clients, right? Now, when I talk about crystals, okay, oh, someone bring me that small little wealth vase again, please, okay, you've forgotten, okay, I think somewhere it's down there, all right, so you see, when I talk about all this wealth vase, I know those of you who are in crystals, right, okay, probably you've heard about this 聚寶盤 or wealth vase before, okay, but when I talk about Feng Shui activation, okay, I'm not talking about wealth vases that looks very small, or crystals that you wear at your, I mean, all those bracelets, okay, all this, like, small little crystals that you're wearing, okay, the small little nice figurine that you put on your table desk and all that. It's not that, okay. We are talking about, okay, the amount of earth that weighs at least, okay, now easily this one that I've sold off, okay, it weighs about 60 over kg, 60 over kilograms, okay, right, there's like 100 over pounds, right, it needs to be huge enough, big enough. Now you don't have to use expensive, in a way, crystals like this. It can be any river rocks, as in Malaysia and all that, you know you have a lot of river rocks, right, thanks Kong Yu, in case those of you who don't know, that's Kong Yu, okay, all right, so now, why I put in this, now I have plenty of this, especially now that, okay, many of you know that I've given up my office, especially now, since the pandemic, that like the one thing I find that is like the most clarity that I have is I realize I don't need the office anymore. Everything is virtual, okay? So now, okay, in my office, now I have like plenty of these stocks at home, okay? I have a lot of them. I don't sell them, okay? But normally I will give out, okay, I give some of them to my very, very good clients or my big clients and all that. Now, it doesn't work in terms of Feng Shui perspective, okay, for this size, but it works psychologically. It reminds you, wealth was, when you put on your working table, it reminds you to focus on wealth, to focus on money, to be aggressive, okay? But this size, as you can see, even my palm, okay, is like, can cover most part of it. This is not sufficient enough for Feng Shui activation method. It means that if you want to collect Qi, it means that certain energy or wealth Qi or wealth energy at your house, you want to collect it so that it doesn't disperse out, it doesn't leak out, okay? You use this size, it's not going to work. You need at least these sizes, or these are the examples of more photos, okay? Now, all these are the ones, okay, normally I, in a way, prescribe to corporate clients, okay, not individual clients, because corporate clients, they need something to be on display in their main reception office and all that, okay? And all these are made of crystals. It is huge, it is heavy, and it's beautiful. All right, so therefore, these are at least the things that you can use in order to collect the Qi. So if you have a big house, and I mean, if the investments is, I mean, it's okay for you, then you can use this. If not, okay, use something that's made of earth. You can just go to any river. If you can collect one big, like, river rock, okay, come back. If that's not against the rules, okay, collect it and put a certain corner, it will be good enough, okay? Or put something heavy there, preferably made out of earth. Right, any figurines, okay, made of big clays or earth or whatever, okay, then you can put at the corner. It's heavy enough so that it actually blocks. That's why traditionally for Chinese developers and all that, okay, for Malaysians, normally they will set up a la tok kong. It means that it's a deity they call datuk. It's like a landlord, okay, right, at a certain area of a big development, they will set up this concrete, it's like, somehow concrete brick wall, house like that, to house this la tok kong, okay, and that particular location, normally based on Feng Shui, we always choose, okay, right, a position where it's supposed to help you to collect the Qi, okay, so that the Qi do not leak out to other people's land. So that in a way you collect it, okay, there's in Chinese we call 肥水不流別人田. So all your good stuff don't in a way flow away, okay, to other people's land or the next plot of land. You make sure that you collect all of it, okay? So those are the ways that you can do. Or big developments, you see that they are big, huge rock, okay? They have carvings on it, all right? So these are the ways that you use, okay? And of course, you also have this wealth vase, which is huge, okay? This one at least a few hundred kilograms. These are super huge. This one, from the photo, it looks small, right? But this one, you can actually, in a way, make it into a tabletop. It's like it can be as big as like a big coffee table. So normally, some of the clients will actually put, they will cut, okay, a glass, okay, on top of it to, in a way, turn it into a coffee table as well. But that's why my purpose is to tell you, okay, you don't have to get all this expensive stuff, but at least you know how it works, okay? Because when you have this is the purpose of collecting the Qi, to ensure that this is like, something that, let's say if your sink, the water is going, you want to start it. You have to use something to start the water, put it there heavy enough to close the hole so that the water will not flow out. So that is the purpose of using earth element method of activations when it comes to Feng Shui. And of course, in my sharings, most of the time, I will only use, okay, fire methods or water methods. But all these methods I use in private consultation. Because fire methods metal or even water is easiest, okay, to use, and you don't even need, it's like much, how to say, what we call a much investment. Plus, okay, all these yearly methods I share with you for yearly purposes, right? Okay, you don't somehow put a big extensive, okay, earth element there, because that is for long term. You don't do it yearly. You don't move around all this, like every year you move to different places. You don't, okay? So therefore, all these methods, okay, in a way are derived, okay, or deployed to long-term clients. Means that, you know, developments, okay, or bigger companies, then they put it once and for all. They don't have to move it every year. But for individuals like you, following me on my Facebook, you can still do the Feng Shui activation. That's why you follow me yearly, to understand, oh, this year, where do I put it? What are the time? What are the days, okay? So then you put it, normally it will use metal, water especially, and also fire activation. All right, so now, okay, right, having said all this, okay, that brings me to the end of the sharing. I know many of you has also attended my previous Saturday, okay, Crouching Tiger, which is my annual Feng Shui and Astrology annual talk, which has passed the English session. Now, for those of you who understand Cantonese, this Sunday session, okay, I'll have the Cantonese session, all right, and the good news is, okay, we are now at the brim, okay. Now, those of you who want to attend the Cantonese session, which is on the 16th of January, this particular Sunday itself, okay, you can scan on the QR code wherever it is, okay, or you can actually, in a way, go into the comment, okay, and click on it and register yourself. It's in Cantonese this Sunday. Now, those of you who missed it, okay, who wants the English session, right, we are now working out a replay link to be sold. But, okay, the most important thing is, those of you who attended last week, now this is the thing that I want to announce, okay. Now, those all ticket holders to my Crouching Tiger events, means that all of you, okay, there are at least about 700 of you who bought the tickets, okay. All of you who has the ticket to the Crouching Tiger Hidden Secrets, okay, you are invited to my bonus track. Now, I cannot announce this before the final portal closing, because all these are geared towards period 9. Even though I wanted so much to announce it last week, okay, that's why yesterday, okay, as you can see, okay, I'm happily sharing with you. Yesterday is a very special date, okay. It marks the final closing of the previous portal, okay. So when that portal closed, I can announce it, okay. So therefore, those of you who host the ticket to the Crouching Tiger Hidden Secrets, you are all eligible to come for this particular sharing 2 to 4 p.m. Sorry, I'm in a way, okay. 2 to 4 p.m., excuse me, 29th of January, okay. I know of those of you in Malaysia, you're Chinese, this is very near to Chinese New Year. I just need 2 hours of your time, where this particular session itself, I'll be focusing into more in-depth bonus track sharing of period 9. Now, it's only available in English. I will try all the important sites. I will try to put in some Chinese information into the sites. So Cantonese ticket holder, my apology. Okay, you might need someone to translate for you. Okay, I will do the sites important informations. I will put the informations there, but the session will only be conducted in English because I have limited time. All right. So remember, 29th of January, emails will be sent for you. It is all inclusive in your ticket that you have bought. Okay, so it's free. You don't have to top up. 2 to 4 p.m. Now, in case those of you who missed my English sessions of annual talk, which was last Saturday, right, we are working on a replay link. Okay, so if that happens to be all good, okay, we will start selling it, and all purchase of replay link comes together with this particular special bonus track access as well. Okay, so once you get the 50 ringgit replay link, you watch throughout the whole entire sharing, you are also in a way entitled to come for this 2 hours exclusive sharing, which is mainly focusing on period 9. Okay, because now you know, I mentioned next year is the final year of period 8. We are in this massive transitional thing. All right, I do not want to share this before the portal of the previous portal closes, which was yesterday. Right, those of you who follow me, you know. All right, so when that portal closes, we now start manifestations and look towards period 9, okay, for the upcoming, in a way, 12 years, 20 years, and upcoming 180 years. You understand what I mean if you follow my Grand Centurion portal sharings. All right, thank you so much, okay, to all of you, right? I mean, thanks so much for your time. For those of you who helped me to share this session out, okay, on your Facebook, I really appreciate it. Those of you who've just joined me, remember, this particular Facebook live sharing will be available, okay, on my page. You can always revisit the first part if you have missed it, all right? And also, I would really appreciate it if you can actually help me to share this out so that it can reach out to more people. Now, the next question is, any specific questions there that I need to, like, focus on?
Was on element of planet Earth.
Now, Earth itself, okay, the Earth itself is Earth. You see, if you follow my Grand Centurion portal, there are two types of Earth. If you really look at Saturn, right, okay, Saturn is like, it is big. It's the second biggest planet in our solar system, but you cannot stand on Saturn. Do a search on it. Saturn, this Earth itself, right, it's not a dense Earth, In fact, it's the most, the density is the lowest, okay? It's all made up of mainly hydrogens and heliums, okay? It's something like the sun. You cannot stand on it. It's not the Earth on Earth itself. So the Earth that represented by Saturn, okay, is an enlightened Earth. It's not Earth that is stagnant, that is in a way procrastinating. It means, Earth, you have tong hei, Earth itself in Chinese we call flowy. The Earth itself, which is very abundant. Example, when you have abundant Earth, okay, where you have oxygenated, is very is a very, how to say, good quality Earth, okay, where everything in it can thrive, okay. So Saturn represents that sort of Earth that is not weighing you down. Now you also have Earth like planet Earth. Planet Earth is Earth, but this Earth is the Earth that weighs you down. Attachment, okay? You have procrastination, all these attachment things, it becomes heavy. That's why planet Earth, if you go into spirituality, for people who follows me in my meditation workshops and all that, okay, planet Earth is a place for us to learn enlightenment. A planet Earth is all of us, spiritual beings, okay, temporarily having this human form to learn the lessons we need to learn to enlighten ourselves. Therefore, planet Earth is the dense Earth, okay? So a lot of times in terms of Taoism and all that, we talk about hell, right, okay? I mean, many other religions, we talk about heaven and hell. Heaven here, in terms of Chinese astrology, we talk about going back to the universe, be back to the star. We are all stardust, the soul, the energy, because energy cannot be created nor destroyed. But planet Earth is the hell. Planet Earth is where we get stuck. We get looping again and again, reincarnated again and again. Right? One lifetime we become human, the next lifetime we become something else because the energy are stuck here. The heavy energy will continue to be stuck on Earth, okay, because it cannot enlighten up. So when you enlighten up, okay, we merge together or back together, so-called religionally, we call God. Right? Spiritually, we call back to the universe, back as one, okay? In terms of metaphysically or astrologically, okay, we say that in a way we got enlightened, we becomes lighter, all right? So that is, okay, the representative of Earth, okay? Whoever that's asking that, I hope that you understand, okay? And I know because normally I don't share such very deep spiritual sharings, okay, on my Facebook Live because this is a very open platform where a lot of people probably, they just stumble upon, okay, the page. If I share too deep, it's like suddenly, oh, Jessie talk about heaven, talk about hell, talk about this, what heavy earth lah, what lightened earth lah, okay? Right, people will be like, what the heck is she talking about, okay? But since you ask whoever that asked the questions, okay, I hope you understand. Planet Earth represents Earth, which is, during the Grand Centurion portal, I say that Earth is something that we need to get rid of in order for us to enlighten, okay? So Earth, planet Earth represents that heavy Earth, that attachment, whereas Saturn here represents that pure Earth form, okay? It's slow, but it doesn't get stuck. Therefore, if you really do a search on Saturn, okay, you cannot really land on Saturn because it's made of gas, majoritarily. The surface is not like Earth where you can stand on it, or the moon where you can walk on the moon, okay? So do a search on that, all right? Thank you for the questions. At least now, I mean, when you ask, in a way, relevant questions, you help everyone to go deeper and understand the topic more, all right? So I hope that answers you, whoever that's asking the question. Any more questions?
Generally, there was a question about duration or activation.
Duration of activation, normally during my sharing, I will always share it. Now, minimally is always 2 hours, minimal. There are some activations, specifically, I say you have to wait until overnight, or you have to wait until the candles burns out, at least overnight or 24 hours. It really depends on situation. I have a purpose to it, okay? So if you are practitioners of Feng Shui, it means that if you go to my Feng Shui Masterclass, then you will understand how to do this on your own and why, okay? You select certain things, okay? I disappeared, all right? Okay, once and for all, but it's okay, okay? I hope all of you can still hear me, all right? So then, okay, right, the duration really depends, but generally water activations at least 2 hours, okay? Sometimes it can stretch out to a day, okay, or maximum the next day you take it off. Remember, all these activations is like acupuncture. So when you go to a TCM sensei or guru, okay, to do your acupuncture, like normally you put the needles there, okay, for a moment, for half an hour, for 1 hour, or some people do it overnight, okay, you go overnight. The most is after the next day, okay, you don't walk around with the needles anymore, you pull it out. You don't walk around with all these needles on your body the whole year through. You don't do that, okay? So therefore, Feng Shui activation here, okay, minimal 2 hours, okay? You can leave it up to a day or in a way up to the next day. Nothing more than that unless specifically mentioned, all right? So remember, all these activations, okay, you do it with hope, passion. Don't do it with fear. So if every time you have to do a Feng Shui activations and the next day, oh my God, how much water exactly? How high is the fountain? How high it needs to shoot, okay? Or what if it's like you shoot not high enough? Or all these questions. Now see, the way people ask questions, we know how much fear, uncertainty, and doubt they have within them. That's the purpose I have this Facebook Live. I just want all of you to understand how Feng Shui works. Don't in a way have this fear always in a way overtaking us, okay? Don't react always based on fear itself, okay? So what if you have 2 candles instead of 1? So what if you have even numbers instead of odd numbers? So what if all this while you don't know that your fountain needs to shoot out like that and you've been activating without the water spouting out? Now onwards, you make that change because now you understand, you're more aware of it, you're enlightened, okay? So you just do better and better each time. Don't fear it. All right, so I really hope that answers, okay, most of your questions. Sorry, I'm slightly delayed, 10 minutes behind time here, okay? Thank you so much, okay, to all of you. I really hope, okay, to see some of you this coming Sunday on my Cantonese sessions on my annual talk. And of course, remember, January 29, 2 to 4 p.m., all of you ticket holders of the annual talk, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Secrets, don't miss it, okay? It's only 2 hours of your time. Don't miss it because that is the official time when I'm going to talk about period 9. All right, so thank you so much to all of you. Take care and see you soon. Some of you Sunday, and if not, next week Wednesday on my Facebook Live as well. All right, bye-bye, take care, good night.